Good day, everyone. Welcome to Miss Valley Entertainment News. My name is Dread. Once again, picture down in the bottom corner is a picture of me, but it is a static photo because my lighting situation for recording live is not yet worked out. Still working on that, so bear with me for a bit. Hope you'll stick with me anyways as we do a reaction to a video by Legendary Drops called Ubisoft and AAA game prices are not sustainable. Let's jump right into this because the Ubisoft drama continues like a rock rolling downhill. This just picks up more and more steam and tears up more and more of planet Earth, aka gamers' wallets and lives.
Song's banging. It is Prince of Persia. The Rogue. There's like a roguelite or something like that, maybe. Steam Early Access, May 14th. They just better not overcharge for it. The problem is they still try to charge the price above an indie game, which is like, dude, you can't do that. Like, what are you doing? I think fair pricing has a lot to do with games today, man. Like, I think that's one of the things that I think is getting overlooked. While, like, I realize that, like, players, like, you know, people want to talk about inflation and stuff like that, and they want to say, oh, well, video game prices haven't been, you know, haven't rose with inflation and yada, yada, yada. Like, I don't give a fuck about that. The problem is that, like, the minute that you stamp on a new price tag to a game, I'm going to expect a level of quality for that price tag that's on it. Contextually, $70 doesn't mean more or less to me than it always has. You know what I mean? $70 is still $70. That's still expensive. That's not cheap.
Nope.
Even like Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 was $60, dude. $60, and like you look at that and you're like, that's a fucking $60 game.
Yeah.
And it's worth more than the $70 games that we've been fed over the last couple of years to begin with as well.
And on Baldur's Gate 3, I am back playing Baldur's Gate 3, doing a playthrough over on Miss Valley Gaming channel, and if you want to check that out, there's a link down below to Miss Valley Gaming. That's my main gaming channel. Having a blast playing Baldur's Gate 3, absolute blast. I am playing a human bard who also has the Dark Urge background and the murderous voice in her head that tries to get her to kill everything. And it's been a really, really fun playthrough. I've got far further into this than I ever have before, and I'm looking forward to completing the game at last. And I tell you what, I jump into the game and, I record an hour or so at a time, but I end up playing for like 3 to 4 hours at a time because I just can't put the game down. It's just that damn good. Baldur's Gate 3 is an absolute hands-down winner of a game. And I do appreciate some people don't like that style of game and so won't play it. I get it. I understand your feelings. That's cool. But you still got to admit it's a good game because so many people not just like it, but love it. And of course, all the awards the industry gave Larian Studios for it as well. And I'm telling you what, it was a fairly priced game. I mean, knowing how good the game is, I would have paid more if they had come out with a higher price point for it to begin with, because it is worth far more. The entertainment value is so good on the game that it's worth far more to me than even what I paid for it. Don't tell Larian that. But but yeah, when games come out and they cost more than that, and the entertainment value is low, it's like, what the hell are you guys doing?
Tell me that you don't think that the $40 price tag has nothing to do with the success of Helldivers 2.
Interesting.
Making your game more accessible to a wider audience is going to make it more successful.
I hadn't thought about it, but I agree.
Maybe that's what the problem is. Games want to make themselves more accessible to a wider audience through design rather than price.
You'll have no good game, though. Your game sucks. It's not going to help.
Think about that for a minute. So many games today are so focused on inclusivity and diversity and all kinds of different things, right? They're like so focused on trying to make sure that this game can appeal to a wider audience because they're trying to capture more people. But what they don't realize is that the one thing that's really limiting their games more than anything is by the fact that they're not selling their games for a fair price. That's what the biggest problem is. Like, if you want to focus on casting a wider net, make your game more financially affordable for more people.
Oh, yeah.
More people are going to buy your game.
That does make sense. And then make it a good game still.
Stop looking inward and look outward.
I agree. Got a very good point.
And like that's I think there's a lot of head cases going on with some of these games as well. Like they're trying to, oh man, there's something that internally is wrong with our game and our design or something like that. We need to completely foundationally change everything we've ever done. We need to retcon our characters. We need to we need to retcon, race swap, gender swap. We need to do all of these different things. Maybe that's what it is. We're not appealing to this wider audience. Look at these Twitter comments.
So in other words, the studios are busy blowing smoke up their own ass. They're looking at all the wrong places. How do we get more people to buy our game? Well, it must be because people feel like I'm not included. I don't see myself in the main character. Again, I'm going to come back to this. I don't care what race my character is in a game. I don't care what sex my character is in a game. I'll put a caveat with that. Most games I would rather play a female character if given a choice. But anyways, that's regardless. I'll play either, right? I'll play any race. I don't care if it's a black, a Native American, a Caucasian, an Asian, a European, a Russian, a South African, somebody from India, somebody from Central or South America, somebody from fucking Antarctica. I play an alien. I've played a goat before in a game, people. I've played as robots and monsters, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what sex the main character is. And it doesn't matter what race the main character is. What matters is a good game with fun gameplay and a character who has hopefully a character arc where you can feel for the character, feel involved with the character, and watch them grow throughout the game. To me, that's what makes a good game and a good character. Makes me want to play the game. I don't look at the character and go, oh, the colors of the pixel representing the skin of the character don't match mine. Oh, I have nothing in common with them then. Bullshit. Who thinks that way? If you think that way, you are extremely shallow. Extremely shallow. Okay? You shouldn't ever think that way. That's stupid. Games are fantasy. Games are an escape from reality. In a game, you can be whoever the hell you want. To think that you need to make your game sell more by appealing to more people because people are only fixated on sex and race is stupid. Why are game designers and game developers so stupid? I mean, not all of them are, but some of them clearly are. It's redonkulous.
And say that we're bigots. This must be the problem. This is the reason why we're not getting more sales than we should. When actually it really just comes down to the fact that no, your games are probably just fine, but the problem is that you're doing a lot of things that aren't attractive to customers. And then also at the exact same time, your games are not priced fairly.
Yep.
So you're cutting yourself off and you're limiting yourself from a much wider audience that otherwise would purchase your game if it was affordable.
Both those things at the same time, you're a bad trouble.
It's not affordable. Let's be real. Like, I'm sorry. Am I the only one that realizes that the vast majority of people can't really afford to buy more than, a couple $70 video games a year, let alone even have the time to be even able to play that many games in a year?
Well, apparently, the people who tell the gaming companies what to do, their corporate overlords up above them, telling the designers and the dev teams what they have to put in the game, what they have to do. Those people up there apparently make thick fucking cash and can no longer relate to people who are struggling to put food on the table. Maybe that's the problem.
First place, they probably have the time, but they don't have the kind of money to be able to invest in those kind of things because let's face it, like the vast majority of people are poor.
It's true now.
What the fuck are they smoking? Not everyone can buy a Lamborghini, but everyone can buy a Ford. Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's
not everybody
like
can buy a Ford,
specifically. Why do you think that some of these like really well-made free-to-play games pop off? Why do you think that free-to-play games are the most played games that are out there?
Makes sense.
I mean, still today, I think Fortnite's the one game that I think is still the most played game, if I'm not mistaken. At least in the U.S., I know it is. And the reason why is because at the end of the day, you know, any misgivings aside, Fortnite is a banger game. It's a good game. It's well made. It looks good. It plays well. It runs well. No performance issues or anything like that. It's a theme that anybody can get behind because it's a battle royale.
You wearing a Chicago Blackhawks t-shirt? Can't see the whole thing, but it kind of looks like the Blackhawks logo. Legendary drops. Are you from Chicago, man?
They have multiple game modes that they've added to the game. They have crossovers with every brand and every IP that you could ever think of and more, and we'll end up even having even more of them in the future. So it makes it even more easily accessible for people because they find something within it that they can resonate with because they find it familiar. And then it's also $0.
Yeah, that helps.
You want to talk about making your game inclusive? That's how you do it. You make a good game and you price it in a way that makes it approachable for any audience.
I love picking up like games that are between $1 and $5 on Steam. I love it because you know what? At that price, if I get 20 minutes of enjoyment out of it, money well spent. Money well spent.
But the problem is, like, I'm sorry, dude, but like, I would probably play Spider-Man. Like, it looks like a fun game. Like, I think Spider-Man's a cool IP. I like Marvel, but I'm not like super into those kind of games. But the reason why I personally don't buy them is because there's no way that I'm going to spend $70 on something that I really don't care that much about.
Yep.
Now, if that game was like $50, I mean, I would probably be a little bit more inclined to probably play it because I'd be like, oh, well, you know, a lot of
It's
people say
$50.
they're having a good time.
Wait for a Steam sale, get it to
$70 isn't
$35.
too much of an investment.
Right, sure.
I'm sorry. Sorry, but if you look at Halo Infinite, you know, its box price when it was released, I think was $70. It wasn't even fucking finished. I don't even think the game even had campaign yet. It didn't have split screen. It didn't have any of the things that they even promised the players that were going to be in the game to begin with. Yet you still want to charge a full box price for that? Like, are you out of your mind?
So drop down below, people, and let me know what you think about video game pricing. Is pricing the issue with some of these companies? I mean, obviously, there's going to be other issues, but is pricing a main issue for why you wouldn't buy a game nowadays? Because clearly we're seeing the prices surge upwards on a lot of AAA games for sure. So is that your thing? Are you in a financial situation where you're like, can I afford to spend $70 on this game? And having to say, no, I can't. So you're either waiting for it to go on sale or you're just walking away from it altogether. Is that happening to you right now? Are you going through enough hardships that you can't spend that kind of money on games that a lot of these games are coming out priced at nowadays? Let me know what you think. From Miss Valley Entertainment News, glad to cover this and glad you're along for the trip. My name is Dread. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. Drop down into the comments below. All those good things that help me out on the YouTube algorithm. Appreciate all of you. And don't forget, if you drop it in the comments, please be civil. And we'll see you all next time. Ta-ta.